The first challenge is the visual question answering challenge. And let's begin that. So here's a quick overview of what I'll be discussing in this talk. In the first part, I will be introducing the Vizwiz data set and define the task for the challenge. I'll then describe the challenge itself and how the results were evaluated, followed by the announcement of the winners for the challenge. Finally, I'll provide some analysis of the results and the patterns that we observed. So let's first begin with the task and the data set for this challenge. The first task is, like I said, visual question answering task, in which given a question, given an image and a question associated with that image, the task is to predict the answer. So in this case, the question is it edible? Given this image, the question would be, is it edible or poisonous? And the answer would be poisonous. And while this may seem trivial to answer for many of us, it is not typically easy to answer for those who are visually challenged. And that motivated this Vizwiz application about a decade ago, in which a mobile phone application called Vizwiz was released to help blind people answer such questions. With this application, a user could double-click on the phone to take an image, then double-click on the phone again if they wanted to record a question about that image, and then have both of these sent to a team of crowd workers, who in turn would provide an answer to the question asked. Over 11,000 people used this application to ask over 70,000 visual questions between 2011 and 2015. And of this, about 62% of the users agreed to share this data, making this Vizwiz data set the first visual question answering data set arising from a natural setting where real users were asking questions about images to support their daily needs. There were three key steps taken to create this data set. First, we preserved anonymity by removing voice and any other metadata such as location. We next removed all visual questions containing personal information such as financial statements, prescription pills, addresses, etc. Finally, we crowdsourced 10 answers per visual question to support algorithm evaluation. In total, the final VQA dataset includes over 32,800 visual questions and over 328,000 answers. So 10 answers for each visual question. And here's a few examples for the VQA task. So given such a question such as these, the task is to predict an answer. So questions such as, is this shirt clean or dirty? Answer would be clean. Hi there, can you please tell me what flavor this is? Sweet pepper, and so on and so forth. So this brings us to the challenge description. This year, like previous years, we have been hosting our challenge, Vizwiz VQA challenge on Eval AI platform. And here's how the data set was split. The training set contained over 20,500 visual questions. The validation set, about 4,300 visual questions, and finally, the test set consisted of about 8,000 visual questions. The evaluation metric is the same as the accuracy measure used in the other VQA challenges. So to compute a score, a predicted answer to each question is matched with the number of humans that responded with the same answer. If at least 3 humans responded with the same answer, it achieves a full score. Otherwise, a partial score is given based on the number of matched ground truth answers. Moving on to the exciting part of the talk, we'll be announcing the winners. So we had 44 teams participating this year. And at the second place, we have team XDU _IPIU, which is a team from Shri Dian University, Xi'an, with an accuracy of 66.4%. And on the first place, we have the HSS Lab Inspur team, who belong to the HSS Lab Inspur with an accuracy of 66.67%. We'd like to congratulate both these teams, and both these teams will be receiving financial awards sponsored by Microsoft. We'll now look into some analysis of the results from this year compared to previous years. We first wanted to show the impact that this has had over the years. The challenge first started in 2018, and we have been seeing an increase in the number of participants, and this year we had 44 different teams participating in our challenge. We'd also like to note the increase that has been happening in the accuracy over the years. While the baseline when the paper was released was about 47%, we are now at 66.67%, which is about 6 points more than last year's winner. Going into the details of the challenge this year, here's the distribution of how the 44 teams performed. The scores ranged from 49% approximately to 67%. The data set still poses challenges to several algorithms. In particular, here are some examples, and here are some examples for which the winning team could not fail. Here are some examples actually for which all teams failed, and I've provided some examples for what the winning team HSS Lab provided. So questions such as what is the name of the product in the bottle in the picture? The answer should have been touch and foam, but the winning team had answered unanswerable. And in this case, it's mostly places where you have to read particular text in a picture. Another example is when a question is asked to read numbers. So what is on the screen? The ground truth answer is zeros, for which at least 3 out of the 10 humans would have answered these questions. HSS Lab provided an answer of time. And then another question which I tried to ask to identify what's on the container. Again, the answer that we received was unanswerable. This is another regular question that we see. So is this regular sugar or is this NutraSweet or something else? Answer should have been equal, and then the answer given was unanswerable. So this data set still poses a lot of difficult examples for algorithms. We then also analyzed the results based on the type of answer requested, and the categories were yes, no, number, other, and unanswerable. And HSS Lab was the highest performer on yes, no questions and the number related questions, while the second and third teams performed better on other and number categories respectively. And that brings us to the end of our discussion. We'd like to thank you for your time for listening for this challenge description and the teams that participated in this challenge. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. And I'll now hand it over to Chong Yang, who will talk about the Vizwiz VQA answer grounding challenge.